So I am back with the next video about resonance. So, what is resonance? Again, without going to actual definition, resonance is kind of just the tone of your voice and kind of where you speak from. So, guys kind of speak down in their chest-ish area. It's a lot more vibrating and stuff down there. And then females tend to talk higher than that. So, like your kind of throat-ish, upper chest, upper torso, upper area kind of thing, like your mouth. Not in your head is falsetto. Like, head voice is technically falsetto. It's kind of like what it's called, I think. So, let me try and do a demonstration. Hello. So, I'm trying to push it down into my lower. It's still kind of up here. You can kind of tell that the resonance is a little bit more feminine than anything, so it's not easy for me to go back down into a male voice. I can do it on a daily basis, but that's more subconscious. Like, it kind of happens more than I'm actually actively doing it. I've never really actively worked on it, but anyway. So this is kind of like a little bit deeper into your chest. You can kind of hear the resonance change a little bit, right? So, and then you're just trying to bring it back up into a more feminine resonance. So it wasn't a perfect demonstration because I still kind of have a feminine quality to the voice, even at like a deeper pitch and stuff like that. Or not a deeper pitch, but like a more male sounding voice, but it still kind of has like a feminine quality to it. It would take me a little bit longer to kind of get into that voice, but that's kind of the demonstration I was going for. So, what to talk about next? So, resonance is so important to record your voice. Record, listen back to it. Record, listen back to it. It is so important because you don't hear the changes necessarily yourself when you're just speaking. When you record it and you listen back to it, you hear what other people see or hear. And that is insanely important for getting a feel for whether you're making progress or not. So, record your voice. Listen back. I would say work on resonance stuff after you've worked on your voice, like pitch, and like have an okay basis on that. And then use your pitch as kind of a warm-up thing. So like doing scales and stuff like that. So warm up into doing resonance, because resonance is a pretty lengthy process. Like pitch stuff didn't take me that long to learn. It was like maybe a few months of working on vocal control. Resonance took me the longest. Took me probably the rest of the year. So like maybe a few months to do like basic amount of like muscle control of my voice, and then the rest of the time it was just kind of like resonance. So resonance will probably take up the bulk of your time in trying to learn and spend time on. Of course, everyone's different. Some people can learn faster than others, and etc., etc. But as far as I felt, resonance was the harder thing to grasp and to figure out. Some things to help you visualize when you're doing resonance. So, like I said, kind of in your chest would be like a male sounding resonance. It's a lot more vibrations there and stuff like that. There's a lot more expanded air and stuff like that. If you push your voice out through your mouth, you push the air through, you can kind of think you're kind of lowering the amount of like space there is for sound to vibrate in, which means it'll sound more feminine. So that's the kind of thing to visualize when you're doing resonance. Instead of talking from down here, you try and talk from like pushing air out of your mouth kind of thing. It's kind of like a visualization in a way. And for me, resonance was a lot about just visualizing it. So there are some sounds and stuff that you can do that are interesting to work on that. In the video description, I do have a video called Changing Keys Voice Practice Program Part 2, and it has a lot of things that are helpful for this. There's a lot of phrases too that you can do repeatedly over and over to try and work on it. So like, there's certain sounds that you can feel like buzz in the front of your mouth, and that's the kind of feel they're trying to go for resonance. So like a you can feel it buzz, like the front of your mouth. That's what you're kind of going for. You're kind of going for a buzzing sound in the front of your mouth, and like the top of your mouth, kind of thing. Or a you can kind of feel a buzz. Kind of feel a buzz on the tongue. That kind of feels it on the lips. So you're kind of going for like buzzy sounds at the front of your like face, I guess. Generally not in your nose region. It's mostly kind of concentrated in like the front of your mouth, your tongue, the top part of your mouth. And those things I found really, really helpful for just doing pushing the air out of your mouth, basically, like forcing the air out. But those kind of things help teach you, instead of forcing the air out, just like making sounds there. So like so I'd like start the sound and then I'd push it forward, and you can kind of feel it different. It is helpful to do it at different pitches, so to pick a pitch, so so that's a little bit above an A3 on my pitch program, and I just hold it there and just and then there's a bunch of other things, the little phrases you can do. If you look at the video, and you'll go through the video, there's like me and V and stuff like that, and just go through the entire video and follow along with it. And it's really, really helpful, I found. And then after that point, the video kind of goes into phrases and stuff. So like really repetitive phrases that you kind of work on. So one that I did a lot, I would either say my name and then the date. So like, hello, my name is Kayla. Today is April 14th. And I would try and work on like tweaking that to sound more feminine with resonance. Or, this is the voice I want to use. Try and do it very monotone. This is the voice I want to use. And you check the pitch, see where you're at, try and keep it at that pitch, and then instead of altering the pitch for the sound, just try and alter the tone of your voice so it sounds different. You can do this from falsetto. So you can go up to falsetto, and then instead of exiting falsetto, you just lower your pitch. So I can't do it too well because I never really learned how to do that, but I had seen videos on it. Is work towards falsetto and then work towards bringing it down into a more reasonable pitch, and that kind of thing I think also has the same effect of teaching you to have more tone in your voice, or have less you're trying to like reduce the amount of vibration in your body when you're speaking, kind of thing. So that's why you're trying to take it away from the chest and into like a smaller area so that the vibration is like higher, thus making it sound more feminine. And falsetto can also help you do that. I personally, that's not the way I did it. The other stuff is how I kind of learned how to do resonance. But yeah. And to reiterate, record your voice. It's so important to record your voice and listen back to it. I have thousands and thousands of recordings, probably. Just record it, listen, record it, listen, record it, listen. It is so important for resonance because you can tell the subtle differences when you listen back to it, but you can't tell it that well when you're just saying something like, hello, my name is Kayla. I can say that a dozen times in slightly different ways, and it's going to be hard for me to tell if it's different or not. But if I record it and listen back to it, the first time and the 10th time could sound completely different. So, record your voice. I think that is it on resonance. This video is a little bit more lengthy because resonance is probably the most important part of the voice for sounding more feminine. I'm going to do one more video. It's going to kind of wrap everything up and kind of tie everything together. So, bye.